We get the same problem. Are we okay? Are we really recording? Got a couple of messages a second ago that things did not go right, but I believe things are going well now. You can see that Weird Modifier Guessing Game 105 is exactly where it's supposed to be, in the top position of the Fun and Games forum at Book Crossing, even though it's been 3 hours. But I have 3 messages waiting for me that I have not seen before. One of these might very well be the mystery pudding. Pudding is the mystery by way of Pink Floyd. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? Or, alternatively, we might find pudding by way of the Amazing Pudding fanzine / alternative title to Atom Heart Mother. The Atom Heart Mother suite of 6 Pink Floyd songs, all meshed together. I am Tommy Walker, your host. I am the author of the book To the Left and the inventor of the guessing game, Search Engine Hot and Cold, where we go to Deeper Web, and Deeper Web tells us quite nicely how close we are with our various guesses. Let's see what we've got right now. Weird Modifier, Guessing Game 105. Guess my mystery, and Deeper Web will tell us how close you are. So we already guessed the modifier. That's the thing of the past. It was Pink Floyd. And so like that. I'm doing this special edition because, well, I thought I had dried my clothes, but apparently not. And so I'm extending my bedtime so that I can dry the clothes and then stop the dryer from running forever. It decides after it dries your clothes, it just keeps reminding you every 5 minutes into eternity that it has dried them for you. If you don't open the door and shut it again. So I have to be present to stop it from running forever. I thought, since I'm extending my bedtime in this way, why not look to see what guesses we may have and try to make constructive use of this time instead of twiddling. Pudding is the mystery. It can happen any second. Seriously. Not Francis. Time. Really. Time has been the overall runner, the overall number 2, the final overall number 2 in 3 different mysteries. And I wonder if Francis is guessing with some awareness of that little tidbit. Pros and cons. Why, Woody? Momentary lapse. Presumably it's something to do with Pink Floyd. Good advice all the time, I say. Oh, dear. Okay. Did you guess anything that has to do with Pink Floyd? It's all quite obscure. And, of course, the percentage of relativity that I just posted, that list is full of obscure stuff. So if you're putting stock in percentage of relativity, then, well, I'm going to get a bunch more obscure stuff. However, the ultimate opening clue. The opening clue. Why is it in my mental Rolodex next to the word ultimate? Opening and ultimate. I have no idea. The opening clue tells us that the mystery has at least 3.5 million hits, because it told us that it had more hits than the modifier, and the modifier was Pink Floyd, weighs into 3.5 million hits. So you want to find a magic page? Okay, I'll dig that. I can kind of dig it, but we're looking for something with a decent number of hits. something that is more commonly said, more commonly appears on the internet than something like careful with that axe. So let's see what we got here. Careful with that axe, run like hell. I don't know how I should deal with this. If these are lyrics, songs, whatever is driving these. What in the world is driving these guesses? The last two that Miss Markey gave us really had no Pink Floyd tie-ins that I could tell. Momentary lapse, pros and cons of hitchhiking. Yeah, strange double H's, why not strange double K's? That's Woody, and I haven't seen Woody in a while. These are not clear to me what they're doing being guessed. Probably some relationship to Pink Floyd. Feedback in time, says Francis. Kind of bizarre to me. Feedback in time. I mean, I know what feedback is, kind of. I know what time is, kind of. That's by Francis. Not apparent what could be driving any of these guesses. What sort of logic could be behind them? With the possible exception of time, and seeing if we have a mystery whose character could lend itself to time being a big overall scorer, as it has been in 3 other games. We have had 3 mysteries of a character that favored time to the point that it could be a runner-up. So is this a mystery of that character? I remember something about limp clocked imagery in, was it Dark Side of the Moon? I actually saw a Dark Side of the Moon concert on YouTube. That was pretty cool. And in there was a limp clocked video, and perhaps it was Time that went with the limp clocked video, a song called Time. Let me see. So we have that, and deeper webs where we want to go now. Pink Floyd and Pudding. We could fire this up. The combined forces of these is a key number. What we were calling mystery hits at the start of the game was joining Pink Floyd and Pudding. 12,800. We're still at that level. Save the work. Okay. Careful with that axe. Careful with that axe. Okay, see what we got. I suppose this is one of those cases where we might want to, instrumental composition. with the spelled their particular way. Oh, so after all these lyrics, strands of lyrics do well, now we're asking if songs without words. What happens with a song without words? Okay, 13,800. 569. Oh my goodness. Is this part of the suite? It is part of the Amazing Pudding suite. Look at that. But the pudding part doesn't show. Amazing does. I think it's because of Amazing Pudding. Or they're going to show us words that I didn't. Okay, words that I didn't specifically type in. It's like what else shows up when you type in other things. So pudding, I supplied the pudding part, so they supply the amazing. Okay. 569 is actually quite good. 569, 569, 569. So is it part of the Amazing Pudding suite? Go careful that axe Eugene. The title is actually Careful with That Axe Eugene. Oh man. Oh my god. And then of course now it's actually getting, oh boy. Now this gets kind of strange. The proper title is Careful with That Axe Eugene. Because here we've had this issue of sometimes I give them strands of lyrics and sometimes I give them, sometimes they guess titles of songs, sometimes they guess strands of lyrics. And I don't know, man. Do I throw in the Eugene myself if she is merely giving me a strand of lyrics? Let's contemplate this one a little bit as we move forward. Run like hell. Now that's a common enough phrase. But when it becomes a Pink Floyd thing in particular, it is a song from the wall. Okay. 22,900. 600. Very good. Momentary lapse. Confident that I spelled momentary lapse correctly, that I put in my quotes in the right places. I spelled Pink Floyd correctly. Okay. Okay, Of Reason is part of, well, now she's done it twice. Or is this another person? Careful with that accent, Run Like Hell is one person. Momentary lapse is another person. Momentary lapse would not be eligible as a noun Um, Good Lord. Two people doing it. Two people giving me partial titles. So do I let that go? 24,600. Wait a second. Is it 24,600? 597. These are all getting extremely close shares figures, aren't they? Momentary lapse. 24,600. What I record? Yeah, that's what I recorded. Of reason. It's also amazing pudding stuff. There's the atom, heart, mother at that level. Yeah, I would think reason is the big one, if that's what you're leaving out. Concert tour. Oh my goodness, they're not. But okay, which one's the instrumental? We heard that one of these was an instrumental. Careful with that axe, Eugene. That's an instrumental. So, okay, from that we know that Eugene would be part of the intent, because if it's instrumental, the words "careful with that axe" would never appear, except in the title. And there's no reason to not put in the Eugene. Now, momentary lapse of reason, if it's not a song, then that's an album too, and I should really be looking at these longer forms for both cases. Pros and cons of hitchhiking. Let's try that one out. Pros and cons of hitchhiking. Two H's. Well, a space between them. According to Wikipedia. One puts them together. A couple more put them together. Down the path, they are tended to be put together. But the first two, well, 2 out of 3. Those two. Hitch and hiking separated. Goodness, I think I have to make another change here. Well, let's see what we have as guest. Assuming this is as guest. I ended up being surprised recently. I spelled out when Jules Guest, Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, she used the numeral, and I translated it into the whole word, then found out that the numeral scored better, thinking that I was improving on Jules' guess, but really I had mistyped, misrepresented what she said. So I'm assuming here that this is the mind of my guesser putting Hitchhiker together. So 1,400 in this form. Millions, 100,000, 10,000, millions, 100,000, 10,000, 1,000. 28. Okay. Well, let's stick right with this one. Pros and cons of hitchhiking. Let's get the pros and cons. Okay, Jesus Christ, pros and cons of hitchhiking. I guess I don't include those. Unless you ask for it. I think that's what my past experience tells me. Pros and cons of hitchhiking separated. See where that takes us. 4,010. 4,010. Well, 4,010.95. Let's take a look at this. I know this is the wrong space. We're going to compare them. It is more common this way. Well, it's better all around, just fabulously better, right? Percentage and traditionals both. So we're going to switch this to 4,010. This to 95. And we get a space between hitch and hiking. Okay. I'm going to do it with these others. Let's now take care of momentary lapse. Darn it. Momentary lapse. Careful with that axe, Eugene. That one's clear enough. It's not a noun as it stands. It's not a strand of lyrics since it's an instrumental song. $12,300. $12,300. So it got a little bit better, didn't it? Without losing a single share. Okay. And it's one of the better ones anyways. Careful with that axe, Eugene. Run like hell. Momentary lapse. Okay, now the question is, do you mess with momentary lapse? A momentary lapse of reason. It's a lot to leave off. while yes, momentary lapse means something, but you're not looking for a strand. If I added in the full title, I would actually be adding more words. Two in the back and one in the front. I don't want to be working this hard to find intent. If I have to add 3 words to a title, now be careful with that Eugene. You could think, I suppose, that one of the songs is Careful with that X and the other song is Eugene, because the separation with a comma. If I were to take in, now okay, what are the lyrics to A Momentary Lapse? Oh, okay, so it's a whole album? So the momentary lyrics to all of the songs in it. So at no time is it a strand of lyrics. Okay. Which I really should have gathered from the other page I was on. It's an album. If you're looking for a Pink Floyd album, you're looking for except we're seeing this stuff. We're seeing them treat things like thought control, dark sarcasm as if they were nouns. And they don't qualify as nouns, but I've seen enough of this to think that they're submitting them as if they are. I don't think I should be adding in half of the guess. It's 40%. I'd be supplying 60% of the words if I took the album as a whole. Momentary lapse, of course, could have broader meaning. Maybe that's the vibe that we're looking for. Momentary lapse. I don't think I should do it. What I am going to do. Okay, well, let's take this another way. Well, then we got this freaky thing of Woody decides that momentary is supposed to be capitalized, but lapse is not. And I don't really think that's a Woody convention, really, to capitalize the first word in a clue. Now she actually did it in Artificial Intelligence. Oh, well, okay. And I don't think Artificial Intelligence had a particular Pink Floyd meaning. So, well, there she is doing it. I'd rather not look further to confuse myself. No, she didn't. Yeah, normally not. But the last 2 times she has. Yeah, it's not her way, your usual way. But it is what she's done the last 2 times. A new leaf. A new way for Woody. I'm going to not give it to her. I'm going to be kind of pointed about it by lowercasing it. So taking it as not being an album intent. Pros and cons of hitchhiking, momentary lapse. Pros and cons of hitchhiking. Take another look at things. Definitely kept the conventions of a title in this one. I can't be expected to save you. It's a bonus if I do. You can't expect me to. However, so we're going to let that one stand. We're going to change feedback to whatever it actually is meant to be. So careful that actually, Eugene, we did decide to change. We did give him a change of hitchhikers. I'm not going the mile for Woody. Feedback. Feedback. Amps, I suppose. Amplifiers. Pink Floyd. What? 3.16 million? Feedback on images? Feedback on as a word that appears in every site in the world? $3.16 million. That's crazy. $3.16 million? That is a huge number. 1.36 thousand is not that huge at all. It says if it is on virtually all Pink Floyd pages. That's bizarre. But it's still not going to go anywhere. There are a couple of worse scorers. It's not going to be a freak show. Maybe it'll be a freak show for, I don't know. Might not be a freak show anywhere. Okay, let's do time. Time in Pink Floyd gets less than feedback in Pink Floyd. That's just nutty. But it's kind of more in line with things. 2.42 million. 2.42 million. And 9.83 thousand. 9.83 thousand. Big shares getter. Decent. Quite decent. Not a champ. 42 million. Man, I do not get feedback. Maybe we sneak up on it, we'll get something sane looking. Feedback by itself. 510 million. It's quite a good number. It really is quite a good number. You can imagine it appearing on the bottom of websites. Send us your feedback. I'm sort of not necessarily that shocked by it. So 848 time gets more. Feedback gets more on Pink Floyd Pages. Musical entity. I guess it makes sense. Kind of comparable. A reversal on Pink Floyd Pages in particular. Now that's more sane. 2.83 million is more sane, but I must say that it's in the ballpark of what we just saw. And usually second results are a little bit lower than first results. And still it has feedback getting more than time, which feels crazy, but I'm going to roll with it. And rolling and rolling and rolling. This could be pudding. Gray flank porridge. Porridge! The first food guess of the game. Porridge, Alan's psychedelic breakfast. Oh, what could this mean? Porridge. Oh my goodness. There was one foodish guess called back earlier in the game. They said no, Gravely did not mean buffet after all. He meant Buffett as in Jimmy Buffett, although he got the guess brought up Warren more than Jimmy, more often than Jimmy. Control find, and here's breakfast, if only it was put as a standalone. And I frankly had thought that for a while that the list was really pointing to food. That we had a number of very high scores, I guess more in the overall area, shares area, I guess, more than anything. I felt the list was looking a lot like Boxty, the mystery Boxty, towards the top in shares. Boxty is kind of what we decided it was an Irish pancake. But when we had the mystery Boxty, I recall that we had on the board the words bird and leaf, as in the leaves of a tree. Bird and leaf were on the board really early, did pretty well, drew attention to themselves in a very young game, dealing with a food of some sort. And it might have been Jules who took bird and leaf and converted it to chicken and salad. And they scored great, and we were off to the races. But at a pre-food stage, you can see a thing like, see, we have pigs up there. You know, I was thinking the same terms, that at a pre-food stage, you can see a word like pig scoring well, when pork would score even better. Like, if pig scores well, pork might score well too. And so we have that at the top. And we have animals in general, which, I know, can frolic and be free, but they can also be dinner. And we have animals very high on the board. We have a list that's been suggesting to me, it looks very similarly like it's at a pre-food stage. So it's a little extra charged with the possibility that food could go high if you imagine this to be a game that was 20 guesses old, that we basically knew nothing about. We see the shares at the top, but our heads are not filled with Pink Floyd and music. Look at some of those top shares guesses, and it looks like it's ready for food to score well. And so here we get a food guess for the very first time. And who knows, I'm very curious about what a food guess could do, because there's bound to be plenty of pages out there where they're saying, well, you know, I have this recipe for porridge. We had porridge for breakfast. We had pudding for dessert while we listened to Pink Floyd. There's got to be plenty of pages like that. So porridge could have a really wonderful chance to score well. And I need to go down further with my 12,800s. I think I've already done it with the AP. We've talked porridge and psychedelic breakfast down there. And yeah, is Gray Flank dancing around pudding? Well, I want to make a start with P, and I wanted to have 2 syllables, but puddings have already been taken. No, it hasn't. So I'll guess porridge instead. Yes, it was on your mind, and you typed it into a post, but you didn't make it the basis of a guess. Or have you forgotten that detail? Let's do porridge. This could be quite interesting. There's porridge on its own. And let's bring in some Pink Floyd. It might mean something particular to Pink Floyd. There's Alan Psychedelic Breakfast again. I don't know. Okay, part of... It's a word, though, right? Porridge is nice. Bowl of porridge swimming around. Yeah, it appears to be a lyric. Okay, porridge, Pink Floyd, and pudding, the three P's. 1,000. I spelled porridge correctly, didn't I? Okay, 1,980. Not a very common word, is it? 1,980. Not the likeliest. What do we have here? 81. Well, 1,980, 81. I feel that I've seen better. That's got to be considered a good marker. Maybe the key, though, will be how it compares with Alan's psychedelic breakfast. Is porridge an enhancement, or is the psychedelic breakfast the higher scorer? Psychedelic breakfast. Not that we needed that part of things. Instrumental track, okay. From Madam Heart Mother. Yeah, well. Was the alternative title of Amazing Pudding. Now we don't really have that in here. $3,120. High relationship. There we go. 3,120. Which is more commonly used. 161. I don't think we really gained. I'm going to say that no, we didn't gain at all. The psychedelic breakfast is does more than porridge does. So we don't really get the confirmation of food. I don't see a confirmation of food in this. Oh my goodness. First guess is porridge. 4 people now. Could be anybody? No. We're going to move forward. Trudge. Trudging at 5 a.m. I kind of don't think we have anything. It's a very interesting round. Well, no, time. Time is way up there overall. And in shares. I'm kind of wondering if it's at an elite level. You got a 13th and a 14th this time around. Feedback pretty ghastly. Feedback is the worst of the ones with shares. Did time make it? '18 is only 18th place after all this time. Yep. Can't say a sentence without tripping that word. $228, I think that's about right. No elites, though. It's going to be a shares elite. That might give it a place in the qualified best. Now, well, is it going to beat Floyd itself? Let's see. I'm large. I guess it ought to. Feedback is third without making the shares. That'd be a trippy thing to see. Imagine what kind of a fall that means. If you see feedback at right behind Pink and Pink Floyd in hits, but not even in the shares elites. See what we have. Time is in third, which is good. It leaps by 2. It's the first. It's the highest shares guess with a plus score, in fact. But feedback is nowhere near. That's feedback. Look at that, 51st place or so, 52nd. Really nutty. It's going to make it a negative round, too. And that's particularly interesting because the previous round was only break even. And that was the worst score since, certainly since converting to the scoring system for all guesses. AP largest and AK largest. Well, yes, that's fine. What have we here? Publius Enigma over the bike sheds. My goodness. Such dominance for the brick in the wall lyrics. Oh, really? Excuse me. There's feedback. How come this didn't go as planned? But I've got them now. Sort by largest AK. Oh, okay, this is not bad at all. Careful with that axe. Eugene, in fact, is in the elites of differentials and cuts into the brick in the wall lyrics. Sure is taking a lot of energy to do it, though. Now that we've done all that, largest 8 in the batch. Is that the right cutoff point? Yeah, I'd say it is. Wow. 3 out of 4 at a certain level. Well, Porge isn't bad. 3, 4, 5. The psychedelic breakfast is better. I kind of like it. I don't know. Maybe we could allow it to stand on its own. Say, well, lyrics from the wrong song is going to be further away than a song title itself. Maybe we can decide that we're impressed with Porch scoring that well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This could be last chance. Could bring in any new guesses. Nope. Kind of looking through all of what Greyflint copied, just trying to scan for another reference to pudding. Okay. Maybe it won't be a losing round. I don't know. And I hear chirping birds. And I really need to get to bed. I work in the afternoon, but not that late. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Five to 3 good scorers in traditionals. I guess has to be considered especially good when the team's been leaning towards low hitters. Of course, we have the two huge hitters in this round. People just fly in the other direction. They don't really settle on the tweeners very often, though. That's what the differentials is supposed to bring out. But it seems to typically be just from one extreme to the other. Oh, wait a second. I just want 8. I just want 8 guesses sorted. This isn't diffs. Yeah, I mean, feedback is actually the only lost guess of the round. This is a 7/8 winning round. Terrific round, really. And one of them was higher than feedback was low. This particular measure. Okay. Copy 228. And of the big 3, we get careful with that axe, making diffs. Nothing makes trads. Nothing makes percentages. Allen's, time, and careful. Differentials does make it. And where do I want to go from here? To my spreadsheet. Where am I? AK? The plan? To do all this stuff? As if I were preparing to do a full scan of extras. Full scan of the measures I don't always look at. See, there's 10th place. Is there a tie? Differentials? No, there is not. Take it down, sarcasm. So it's now 7/10. The list is now, another one chips in. We used to be at 8/10. Careful that axe chips into the brick in the wall lyrics, which are not exhausted, but they don't want to go there anymore. They're tired of going there. There were only 6 eligible nouns in the first place, and they've run themselves out of steam by guessing a bunch of the ineligible, by guessing a bunch of things, bunch of lyrics and strands of lyrics that are not eligible for the solve. Yeah. This is, even with, careful with that axe, Eugene. This is a sight to behold, this differential list. Careful with that axe, Eugene. I never looked up AX. But this is seriously a sight to behold. You can't even quite keep the 10 here in one space. This is the differential 10. It is 7/10 lyrics to Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2. Publius the Enigma in a class by itself, but then we have bike sheds from the spoken part, and like the line right behind the right, was it before or after? I'm getting confused myself. But it's one of the spoken parts, the meat and pudding being the other one, basically. Laddie, stand still, laddie. Yes, you behind the bike sheds. Stand still, laddie. Dark sarcasm for the basic part of the song. Thought control. Whatever. All in all, sarcasm, both from the lyrics. What's really wild about this, and there have been junctures in the game that have shown it even more starkly. Here we have a differential top 10. This is just the top 10 guesses. The list is now at 228. And you look at the top 10 in differentials, and they are 7/10 lyrics, words from Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2. What is really wild is that there are more words from Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2 in the differential 10 than there are eligible guesses for the solve in Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2. There are 7 of the top differential 10 from that song, and there are only 6 eligible terms for the solve from the same song. The differential 10 outnumbers candidate guesses from Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2. And we've only guessed 4 of them. We've only actually guessed 4 of the 6 eligible guesses, eligible terms. You know, going with things stated in the opening clue, and going with my personal definition of a noun, which I have shared with everyone playing. I'm at one point or another. Just amazing. But they're tired of looking. They're tired of shooting in that general direction. Flailing in that general direction. Okay, so careful that axe did make it. We better look up shares. We know that we have a high share score in time, and we may well have a qualified best there too. What do we have in the way of qualified bests? Well, yes, we do. Pink isn't really a champ. Pink Floyd is really the one who should be considered champ. But yes, time goes higher. And time is higher in shares and higher. That's kind of wild. Time is higher in shares than home and higher in percentage. Time knocks home out of the qualified best. Then it's 4, 9, 6, 8, 8. We better look through it all, I guess. 13. 14 for drugs, 17 for the bike, 18 for the teacher. Ah! 18 for the teacher. Really? After teacher, we have to go further than the eye can see? Okay, pigs, that's familiar. Poem. It's kind of a surprise score at the time. Adam Hart doesn't make it anymore. Then it's on to classroom, and all in all, quite a jump. Careful with that X appears to be in, doesn't it? Oh, wow. It transcends sarcasm. Oh, boy. Okay, 36. I thought it might, 36. Down, down, down. Stick in the Eugene, and we're definitely ahead of sarcasm. And maybe something else, or no? 38. Then it's on to scarf. And rather sure at this point that we haven't seen anything that historically high. So careful with that axe, knocks out sarcasm. That's kind of a surprise. Just careful with that axe, and there's sarcasm. Careful with that axe, Eugene. And so the story, we're holding at 20, but we get 2 more transcendents. Huh. Qualified best, which is a long, long list. Okay. Copy. Differential 10. I'm rather sure that my laundry would be done by now, and it could be annoying to my wife to have to listen to it all night. So we're going to... Oh, okay, hi again. Go away. Not you, constant listener. Let's see now. So here's a qualified best. Bada boom, bada bing. We don't need these guys capitalized anymore. And bike up here, we don't need capitalized anymore. And down here, public enigma, we don't need Publius enigma, Publius enigma. Now, so, however, sarcasm, tragic day. So, tragic day, anytime we are steered away from another brick in the wall lyrics. So, I mean, just look at the energy it has taken to knock brick in the wall lyrics out of the qualified best. The number of guesses we've thrown in that direction to knock some of these things out. While the lyrics themselves went into the best, it was like falling off a log to put them into the best. And we just have to throw all kinds of guesses at it to remove them from the best. To remove some of them, and a lot of them, of course, continue to have the staying power. Let's see now. So sarcasm is gone. In its place goes what? Sarcasm is gone, and in its place, careful with that X, Eugene, right? The other one is time. That's the other one that movement. Careful with that axe, Eugene. Oh, that's something I can use for a headline. I like wielding axes in headlines. Let's see. And then home actually gave way to time. That feels kind of unusual. Home being such a bully, it's usually a bigger bully than time is. Well, I guess we're not particularly the stuff of websites. I don't know. Everything's a website, isn't it? All websites have homes. How does time go higher? Unless home is mentioned once and only once on a bunch of places, and time gets mentioned multiple times and gets credit. There's another sentence with time in it twice. So time beat home. Not every day that home gets knocked from the best. I mean, because this is not true anymore. I wonder if I want to call that my story of the day. The noteworthy thing in the headline, the exclamation points for because of careful, but what really strikes me as interesting is home getting knocked from the best. Of the things I feel that I can mention, that are okay to mention. I like it. Knocked from. Sarcasm victim. Sarcasm also axed. Okay. Da 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 da. Forge is very interesting too. Very interesting for Forge to score that high. If we don't require it to a lyric to score at the same level as a song, if it's not the right place, maybe we should be impressed with the porridge. But like how momentary lapse. Okay. Should really get to bed. Oh, well, okay. Shares are of a lower lower the hierarchy than qualified bests are. It's where, but time actually has a +2. That's really striking in this game. So, we're still there. Still for W, largest, da da da. Although, I don't really believe this ordering of things. I'm talking about shares. Cover Mother Kids, album song rock. Home Time Pink Floyd. Floyd Pink Time Home. Rock song, album. Kids Mother. And a cover. And what's the deal here? Time is third. Pretty bland, I think, at this point. But I'll mention the hits 10 because time is still on that list. Now we'll bring up the curiosity that feedback is too. Not quite doing this as I'm afraid I'm going to making the differential column serve some dual purposes here. It's kind of awkward. Pace. Feedback is third in hits. And time is fifth. Feedback for some crazy reason. Home, time, rock, album cover, song, Beatles. I don't know what you want to make of it. So did I do the W's before? Am I going to do this? So I've had like no point to where are we now? Pink Floyd. I like that way of doing it. Pink Floyd. This is shares. Yeah, I guess that's the right way to do it. Oh, really? Gee, this is I'm kind of like gritting my teeth through this to doing extras. 5:39 a.m. I don't know, man. I guess I'm doing it. Well, I did have a fairly substantial nap today. If I get to get some points, collect points for those hours of sleep, maybe I shouldn't be too concerned about the only 6 or so that I'm shaping up to get between now and the time I have to wake up tomorrow, because I've done this crazy push. The best worst category especially keeps sneaking guesses past me that didn't look that impressive to me. and yet they ended up being big scorers, big finishers in the best worst category, which takes the poorest ranking between shares and percentages forward. I tell people, if you think you're only as good as you are at your worst, this could be the measure for you. And it's kind of quite the philosophy to adopt for a person who has written a book of the nature that I have. What do we have here? I mean, you can't, I mean, that is just so god-awful, just crazy god-awful feedback. Really insane. Differential shows it. Look at that. A drop off from 0.347 to 0.058. And you thought 347 was bad, because that represents a drop off of its own. That's pretty extreme. That's just out of this world. You know, I could produce differential bottom 10. You know, I should. It is actually a feature that I typically run. If something finishes last in something, I'll do bottom tens for it. So yeah. In fact, let's do that now. Sort them all by smallest BZ. 2/28 and down. Oh, but we don't want them. This is not something you put in quotes. This is nothing anyone wants to search. We'll put it here. We're going to make, I don't have my columns really ordered the way I want them to be ordered. I have it's not quite as I didn't leave a column, when I transferred, I somehow didn't leave a column open for rankings way down around BE. Like, what did I do over here? I think usually BE is where feedback and setter would be. This would be the rankings would be. And all my collective intelligence junk, which this is, would start one column later. Without doing that step, I don't know what happened. Maybe I have a blank column or a virtually blank column that was read as blank and the data got closed when I transferred from one spreadsheet to here, to a blank one. My old spreadsheet to this blank. I keep having to make the differential ranking column do extra work for me. So this is interesting. The differential bottom feedback, of course, on a plane all by itself, anarchy kind of strange, but other than that, bunch of artists. Music does not score well anymore. Once you get to this level, something that's even worse than music. But that's not my thing to joke about, because I've been finding Gravelink in particular perfectly capable of making music guesses. I mean, we're seeing plenty of lyric guesses, strands of lyrics, and names of things, names of albums. Um, but to guess something that's musical thematically, once we've gotten to Pink Floyd, it's a bad bet. Bands. Nothing as bad as a band. Now that Pink Floyd has been guessed. Okay, which I accept that. I accept that these are some of the furthest things from pudding there are. Okay. Pudding's not anarchy, right? Anarchy, pudding brings everyone together. That's how government starts. Everyone gathers over pudding, and they decide to build a society. I guess there are kind definitions to anarchy that says, well, no, that's no, anarchy is not like that, or doesn't have to be. Stephen Molyneux would tell you it doesn't have to be. Let's see now. Where are we? Is there anywhere else to go? I think I'm in a place of readiness now. Let's see. Sort by. Do I have my fattened overalls or not? What if we did AP smallest? What would we find in the way of fattened overalls? We would find that they are too fat in certain places. 1, 2, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's as far as I want to go. Only the most recent 8 are fattened. Okay. For easy searching at a glance. So how are these guys doing in Newfangled? We have something scoring as high as 7th in Newfangled. It is. Careful with that axe, Eugene. So that's, wow. Really? Newfangled. Next to all of these, well, all in all's up there too. Don't know what to make of that. Careful with that axe. Eugene does very, very well. 7th in Newfangled, if there's no tie. What do we have in Z? Better? Worse? What? Not on the list. Huh? I forgot to see who the champ was when I did AY. Didn't especially notice what the champ was. Bike. BC, smallest. We have an 8th placer. Is it the same one? Time. Oh, I'm looking at BC. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 8th place, that's not considered to be an elite. Only the top 5 are considered to be elite in traditional relativity, because the other 5 are made up of percentage relativity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have this candidate that's porridge. Oh, wow. Well, we knew about Uncle Custard. This is kind of too bad. BC, unless there's a tie, I would love to have an excuse to make a capper out of porridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's not in a tie. Certainly not in a tie for 5th. Oh, that's too bad. Very close to an elite. Oh boy. Well, the broader, the more general of 2 usages. And, you know, porridge is food. That's a general usage. Does not get noticed officially. Can't put it beyond the guessers that they can see with their eyes, though. What I don't specifically bring out in the elites, listing of elites. BS largest. What do we have there? A 3rd and a 5th. 3rd and a 5th for the breakfast and careful. Careful does not improve balanced psychedelic breakfast, however, is not going to do better in anything than that. So let's produce differential relativity. The top 5 for it. 3/5 joules. Once again, starting to see some joules W dominance in something. Okay. Differential relativity goes here in the hierarchy. Alan's psychedelic breakfast. Careful with that axe, Eugene. Okay. It won't be long now before we can get through this. Sort to BT. A 9th place finish for Careful with that axe, which does better in other things. BU. Is that the axe again? Yeah. UVW. La la la. La 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 la. 9th place finish for what? The axe? We should really memorize that. 247,000. BX. $47,000. It's in 10th this time. BZ. We have to go down to a little out of range. CC. Deviential differentials. 8th is pretty good, but the axe does better in other places. Publius. And good old Publius, and a 7th for careful with that axe. But didn't we see that in best worst? What are we looking at? AZ smallest. For Christ's sake. Was it AY? Newfangled? I think it was Newfangled. Also 7th. Well, here's the key. Assuming that is the highest. AP smallest. Do we have a tie to deal with that would bring it lower? No, still in 7th. Now, is it really not showcased that well in anything? 7th place. 13th, 18th, 8th in differentials. Relativity 5. Okay, so yeah, Newfangled. Differential 10. It's one of the big 3. Newfangled 10. Just think even higher of it. This is AY. And there is a tie, however, that takes us down to 11th. There's that. Careful with that axe. Very strange in the context, isn't it? This is striking. Careful with that axe, Eugene. I feel like everything is a lyric, either within another brick of the wall or off to the side of it. And it's just, boy, what a sore thumb that one is. Newfangled 11. So now you can close up that gap. These other gaps are closed somehow. Differential 10 twice? What happened there? No, just differentials for the batch, and differentials in the context of the list as a whole. And an 8 goes notch higher to a 7th in Newfangled. It gets mentioned in differential relativity behind Alan Psychedelic Breakfast. Qualified best, put time ahead of home. Careful with that, Eugene is the best, of course. Timed as well in shares. feedback does a job in hits. We didn't have anything worth more than a 7th or 8th place finish in a category that is known to warrant exclamation points. We might be calling differential relativity 5 a 2 if I were to commit that we really are going for, that we're playing to differential relativity. What was the one I just posted? Wasn't it percentage real? Two in the same round. Do I want to commit that we're playing to the category? Do I want to admit that we're playing to the category? And that it's therefore time to recognize this. How coincidental would it be if we got 2 out of 5 without playing to the category? But wait a sec, we don't have a new champ. Does that mean anything? I have not really thought that stuff through, and I don't have time to. And we do all this stuff. And so a couple things blocked out, about 10, kind of cool, and it's enough. It's a freak enough. And it's 6:02, and I'm really living dangerously. But I saved the note successfully, and I cannot look behind me. Can I look behind me? Do I dare look behind me? I guess I have to. I mean, what the heck sleep in a context like this? I haven't made one decision in favor of sleep. Why should I start now? Could be pudding. You have porridge. Could be pudding. Boy, that's a lot. Okay. And what am I up to now? That's what I'm up to. My beautiful book to the left of the game. The beautiful guessing game. Search engine hot and cold is what we've been playing. And Monstrous to the left there are both creative works of myself, Tommy Walker. Though in the second case, we're talking creative nonfiction. That would be, I would say, a rather important point. And like that. So I'll see you guys later.